Alright, so we're on the way to the facility right now. I have 4 high school guys that we're going to do a velo day with. Couple more lessons today, and then I have my own throwing and lifting today. So we're just going to take you guys around with me. Alright, so just finished up lessons for the day. So now we're going to jump in some of my throwing. Still working, kind of going through the rehab phase. So today I have 120 feet, 3 throws. The only difference is today that's going to change from last time is that we're going to start adding in some shuffle and some footwork. So we're going to change up a little bit of the plows that I've been doing, just kind of get my feet moving a little bit in rhythm, then kind of just working with the arm a little bit more. Over that, how I'm using my radar gun to calculate my distance. Obviously we're kind of up here in Montana, we're in a little bit more of an enclosed space, so I don't have as much room. I can't go out with the snow outside. I can't go out and actually throw 120 feet in. Our facility is only 87 feet long, so I can't throw 120 feet. So today I'll kind of go over and show you how I use my radar gun to calculate my distance to get in my throwing for the day. Just a little update from today's lessons. Got a new pull down leader. Jackson Lubke hit 91 today, so that's big time. So we got a new leader there. New deadlift leader, Connor Quinn hit 340 yesterday. So that's what the leaderboard's looking like right now. Okay, so with that soft tissue work there, I've really been working on kind of this area right here in my pec and then back here in the scap. Before I had my shoulder surgery, those spots were already pretty gritty. Once I had shoulder surgery and I wasn't really doing anything or moving it, kind of spots right here gotten pretty bad. It kind of makes my shoulder tighter, a little bit harder to get back into layback. I think that I've really been making sure that I do every day is trying to make sure that I really dig in there with the lacrosse ball, get kind of really deep into there and break up some of those really gritty spots. So the reason why I'm doing drop steps is I haven't been doing these when I was doing my 30, 60, 90 foot throws. As I move into my 120, my feet are going to be moving. We're going into more of a crow hop transition. What I wanted to do with the plyo was kind of get something that's going to force myself to move my body a little bit more and really get more synced up. That way when I go to doing my crow hop, it's more natural, and I've already done throws where I've been moving and have to sync everything up. Now I'm going to go into my throwing portion of the day. Throws at around 100 to 125 feet. How I'm going to do that is behind me I have pocket radar, and I have an iPad set up to where I can see how hard I'm throwing it. This works is I have a conversion chart on my phone. It's just based off of where my velocity was at before surgery, calculate percentage and what that percentage would equal to distance-wise. I want to stick in the 40 to 42 range. I'm throwing that to the top of the net. It's going to be at about 125 feet. I want to stick in that range just to kind of measure my intensity. Even if you're healthy, I still think this is a good idea to do. Track kind of our long toss indoors. Obviously, it's more ideal to throw outside where we can really stretch it out long toss. In places where we can't do that, it can be really useful to track intensity and our output for the day. To that, and I'll go ahead and film to where you can see kind of the velo range. I'll start close to the net and then I'll back up to about 60 feet where I'll be throwing in that 40 to 42 range to the top of the net. That kind of calculate distance and output. Finished up my first round of throwing. I think this is why going with the radar, especially for me where I'm trying to track intensity, ultimately the intensity right now is the amount of stress that I'm putting on my shoulder. I feel better every day. I was going past my intensity limit. So you see almost that whole round I was like 44, 45, like I was trying to stay in that 41 to 42 range, which is okay as long as there's no discomfort. I think ultimately it just kind of gives me feedback where I am at in terms of my intensity. So for example, that should be about 30% intensity for me. I know going into my next round, I need to tone down the level of intensity just a little bit. Make sure on my last 15, I'm staying into that 40 to 42 range. It's not the end of the world. I honestly might be just that my arm is getting synced up a little bit better. Ultimately, there's no issues as long as I'm not getting sore the next day from it or there's no pain while currently throwing. Okay, that I'm a little bit, it's not like I'm 10 miles per hour over my intensity limit. A couple miles per hour really doesn't make that big of a difference. So I just finished up my last round of throwing. Just wanted to kind of go over some of the mechanical cues that I'm thinking about while I'm throwing. One issue that I had really bad before I got surgery is I was having a late arm, right? So instead of being here at foot put, I was kind of more here super late. One that just kind of takes a lot of velo away, kind of tanks the velo. Everything gets off sync. Number two, that also probably had something to do with why I was having so much pain in my shoulder. I get here and try and drive, trying to force my arm back into layback instead of letting it naturally lasso out. Really over my recovery process, that's the number one thing that I want to focus on is just making sure that I have a good arm swing and I'm letting the arm get up in time and get that as consistent as I can. So when I go back to throwing at higher intent, that's already natural. I'm already getting the arm up in time, and that's not an issue that I have to worry about moving forward. That's really the only thing I'm worrying about right now is just having the arm swing and getting it up in time. Some days it's really good, some days it's really bad. And I've talked about the trend coaches, the recovery process, we're only going to throw into a net until we start getting into some flat ground work. The reason for that is I don't want to be worrying about mechanical changes, controlling intensity, stuff like that. Ultimately getting pushy and like basically just throwing darts because I'm trying to hit somebody in the chest. I'm throwing into a net. It allows me to move more freely and make changes to intensity or mechanical changes that I need to make without having to worry about kind of the result of the throw. Because I had surgery, obviously I'm not playing this year, so I have 7 months my summer ball, the focus doesn't need to be so much on command right now as it does getting the body back moving naturally and fluidly and fixing some mechanical deficiencies. And then when it comes time to removing the flat ground movement work, that's when we'll go back into throwing, do a catch or playing catch with somebody, focusing more on some command work. Okay, so I didn't film my post throw. Basically, my post throw it's pretty short. The reason for that is I do most of my post throw stuff after the gym. So the way that my routine is set up right now is I just go to the gym right after I throw. All I usually do is do waiter walks, voodoo floss, some upwards toss, some stuff with the rebounder, and then the shoulder tube. Other than that, I'll go to the gym and kind of hit my shoulder care stuff that I need to get done. Some stuff that I'll usually hit a couple times a week is forearm stuff to kind of protect the muscles right around the UCL. So I'll do those occasionally too. Typically, if I were in a spot where I wasn't able to go to the gym right after I lift or kind of within a few hours after I lift, I would do a more extensive arm care routine. So like, for example, when I'm on the road, on games or practice, when we have morning lifts, things like that, I'll do all of my arm care stuff right after I throw at the field with balls, bands, scap push-ups, all sorts of different things. Right now, my workout's still kind of not as baseball specific as I would like because I'm still trying to get some of my general strength back. So I'm doing things like triceps, biceps, just to kind of get that strength back, because when I was in the sling, those muscles weren't moving very long, so they're still out of shape. So I need to continuously work. So here moving in after this week, I'll be at 3 months, which is when I can start a more traditional lifting program. And once I start that, my post throw will also be a little bit different as well.